Welcome to PM+M's second podcast of Lead, Learn and Grow. I'm Helen Clayton, Managing Partner at PM+M, and I'm delighted to welcome Oli McCann, Partner and Board Member at Napthens Group. Good morning, Oli.
Morning.
How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. I'm really pleased to be here.
Good. So, a rainy July summer morning in Blackburn. What drives you to get out of bed in the morning?
As cheesy as it might sound, I actually love my job. I love the people I work with. I love supporting them, helping them develop, troubleshooting issues with them, and I love helping resolve client issues, really. So I've always got a stack of work to be getting through, so I know I've got something to come in and sort of head through and get it sorted. So yeah, it's a no-brainer for me. I'm up bright and breezy, up early and straight into work.
Yeah, it sounds very familiar actually. They really do drive you to kind of keep achieving things with people and supporting others, don't
absolutely. The thrill I get is giving the client the outcomes that they want, or trying to help get the clients the outcomes that they want. But it's the team around me that I feel sort of when they're learning and developing, and I see them growing individually. That's really where I really get the buzz.
Yeah, it's hugely rewarding, isn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. So go on then, tell us about your career so far.
Well, I'll go back to the very beginning.
Okay.
After my degree, when I did my degree, I sort of did law and economics. I was still a bit unsure as to which direction I wanted to go in, but I realised that I really enjoyed the legal side of the degree, so obviously focused more on that in the latter years. After my degree, I decided that I was skint and I needed to go and earn some money. And so I decided to do the legal practice course part-time, which was quite rare. Most of my friends were all going to do full-time legal practice courses, but I wanted to go and work in a legal practice, working part-time as a paralegal, and I secured a position with a local high street practice in 1997. Yes, I'm that old. And that was a really great grounding for me, working on a mixed bag of work, supporting solicitors that we're learning from, working with people from all walks of life, really. And I was there for probably about 8 years, during which I sort of progressed to do my training contract, qualified in 2000, and then sort of progressed to becoming probably the youngest partner that they had in the business, actually, as a salaried partner. So yeah, I got to a point in I think 2005 where I realised that sort of the law was changing. Well, not law was changing. The support for people, members of the public, in terms of access to legal support, was being diminished, and I could see that the area of work that I was beginning to focus on, which was employment law, was going to be difficult for me to deliver where people didn't have access to funds or access to support. So I took the decision that I needed to move on to progress my career and progress my understanding of employment law, and I joined a niche commercial practice, which offered pure employment law opportunity for me, supporting businesses as opposed to individuals. And so it was almost like switching sides, sort of, I suppose, poacher becoming gamekeeper, really. And that was a really big learning curve for me, really. I thought I was good at that age, but I realised I had a lot to learn when I landed at this law firm. And I sort of worked there for about another 7 or 8 years. And during that period of time, I learned so much under the managing partner in terms of not just technical ability, but how to apply the law in a commercial way that delivers results for clients, really, and how to deliver advice to clients in a non-legalistic way, sort of forgetting all the legal jargon and just delivering it in simple terms, really. So that was huge for me. That sort of that growth curve was huge. It was hard, but it was massive for me. And then I decided that, I got approached actually by Napthens solicitors sort of in 2011. I told them that I probably wouldn't be interested, but I thought I'd go for a coffee. And then about 4 or 5 months later, I was joining Napthens in 2012, just because I felt that Napthens' values sort of mirrored my own personal values. I could see that the partners that were in the business were people that I could work with, trust, and sort of basically invest in the business for the next sort of 12, 15, 20 years, really. So I made the move. I joined the East Lancashire office. My remit was primarily to help grow the employment law offering in East Lancashire. I'd always worked in East Lancashire, so I had a good group of sort of connections and clients, etc. So it was obviously a good opportunity for me to grow their offering there. as well as growing the employment team generally. And yeah, we achieved that over the sort of, I've been there for 12 years now, and the Blackburn office has grown massively in that period of time. The employment team has absolutely mushroomed. I was the fourth member of the employment team. We've now got over 30 people in the team. So it's been amazing really to see that growth curve, and it's not been down to anything I've done. It's just been working collaboratively with the colleagues and sort of chasing opportunities, bringing them on board, and then growing and bringing more people on board to support and deliver the services really. So it's been a fantastic time, 12 years at Napthens. In that time, I've also sort of became head of the East Lancashire office, and I'm now sort of on the people committee, which I absolutely love, and also a board member. So yeah, it's been a busy 12 years actually.
Yeah. I can see it has. So in terms of being a board member, what does that mean to you?
I've got to say I was a little bit sort of scared about becoming a board member because it's a big level of responsibility. You're taking on the sort of the weight of the firm really in terms of helping direct its future strategy, and sort of ensuring that we achieve everything that we've set out to achieve along the business plan, and also sort of, I suppose, there's an element of sort of self-reservation as to am I good enough to be on the board, so to speak. But I sort of got sort of quite sort of some friendly sort of support from my fellow partners who basically said, confirmed that they believed in me, and that was, they would be happy for me to be on the board. And I suppose that vote of confidence that I'll go and do it. And so being on the board for me is about sort of, I suppose, really just working with the rest of the board members to try and determine what our vision is, making sure that we've got a strategy to deliver that vision, and then making sure that we communicate that vision and that strategy across our partners who are integral to helping the rest of the firm understand what that is and deliver it really. So we've got a clear sort of roadmap really to where we want to go. So it's challenging because you've got to balance that with looking after clients as well. But
so that, I guess that leads into my next question is, have you given anything up to spend the time on being a board member? What does that look like?
Not yet. My wife, a complaint my wife will probably make is that I'm working probably too hard. I am on the board of a couple of charities. I will probably relinquish one of those roles in the next sort of 6 months. I've already started those discussions just because of the time pressures, and I need to create a bit more time to spend time within Napthens, both on the board but also with the employment team or with the whole of the people services team, really, so that we can I can add value to that as well. So yeah, that's the nothing's been given up as such, but to be time to be freed up, shall we say, is on my to-do list. Yeah.
So in terms of your career so far, what's your proudest moment?
Oh, proudest moment. That's a tricky question.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Or has there been a few?
Yeah, I think a proud moment for me goes back to when I was at before Napthens and at this commercial law firm, where I'd had sort of maybe reservations about my own ability and my own intelligence to be a great lawyer. But over the years there, I began to realise that being a great lawyer doesn't mean you've got to be just intelligent. There's a lot more to it, and I think we call it like the O-shaped lawyer now, and which is basically a well-rounded lawyer that can not only know the technical expertise, but is able to build strong relationships with clients and with people, with colleagues and with intermediaries. Sort of that's fundamental to being able to sort of, I suppose, grow as a practice or as an offering. And in that respect, sort of I recall sort of being sent on a pitch with a large PLC retailer. And that was probably the biggest pitch I've ever had to do. And I sort of went to do it on my own, and I explained sort of how we could support their business. And at the time, there's only myself and one other in the employment team. And they had about 10,000 employees across the UK. So there's a little bit of a worry about my background as to whether we had the capacity to deal with it. But I went along, scoped it out, delivered the pitch, and they came back and said they wanted to work with us, and that was up and running, within 3 months. And that felt a very proud moment, and actually was probably a turning point in terms of my self-belief for me. So
yeah, No, that sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. So, advice to others then that you would give coming into the law or any profession, I guess.
I think, I suppose, based on my own journey, as I said, I sort of maybe had issues around sort of self-belief, and it's quite easy sort of when you can come into the legal profession and think everyone's highly intelligent, that there maybe some people are a little bit sort of put it bluntly, stuck up, or feel superior or whatever. But for me, I think you can be a great lawyer as long as you be yourself. That you work hard. It's not easy. You've got to work hard to know your stuff and to look after clients. And essentially sort of just push your boundaries really. Sort of never sort of stand still and always try to push yourself further. I was thinking, sort of actually this morning about sort of my career, and sort of the moves that I've made has never been for money. It's always been because I've wanted to move to an organisation that I felt would help me develop personally, and also from a technical expertise perspective. And so in all of my moves, it's always been for the same money or less. I actually took a step back when I moved from the high street practice to the commercial niche firm in terms of status. I'm not bothered about status or money. It's about being the best I can be in the profession that I've chosen, really. And that for me has got to be the focus. If you start doing it for other reasons, you'll never really be the great lawyer that you think you're going to be.
Yeah, no, very sound advice. So let's flip it round from work back to Oli, and home and personal life.
Okay.
What's that balance look like for you? How do you achieve it if you can?
Yeah, I think balance, obviously it's individual to everyone. So we hear a lot about work-life balance, particularly in the area that I work in, but one person's work-life balance will differ to another's. So for me, as mad as it might sound, Monday to Friday, I just dedicate to work primarily. I work really long hours to be the best I can be, to deliver the best I can for my clients and to support my team. I obviously save a little bit of time for my family, but they acknowledge and accept that their time with me is at the weekend. So for me, Saturdays and Sundays are sacrosanct. I don't really want any interruptions from work unless it's exceptional, urgent circumstances, which is very rare, to be fair. So for me, that balance is Monday to Friday, work hard, but play hard at the weekend, to put it bluntly. And midweek, I also sort of make sure that I do sort of spend some time for myself. So I do exercise every day of the week, which is time on my own, I suppose, to sort of think, and also do something energetic and get to a point where I feel focused, ready for the day ahead, really.
Yeah. I quite admire that every day there's something for Oli. And I imagine there's quite a lot of people would like to be able to achieve that and find their, I guess, diligence in doing that. Yeah,
and it's interesting. Before COVID, I didn't do that. I sort of was in that sort of habit of maybe doing two or three runs a week, but I'd end up going into the office, and I'd be in the office at 6:30, and I'd be working till sort of 6:30, 7 o'clock at night. But when COVID happened, obviously that sort of gave us an opportunity to reset in terms of what your day looks like. And sort of for me, I booked in some sort of like activities like swimming and running where I could sort of do that in the morning. And I'd managed to do that before we gone back to the office fully. And once I got that routine in with doing the exercise, that's become more important to me than getting into the office early, really.
No, it's impressive. I need to master it.
You can do it, definitely.
Thank you. Oli, thank you very much. Thanks for showing vulnerability and the real you.
My pleasure. Thank you.